Hi everybody, welcome back to the Addictive Wellness channel. My name is AnnaBlanca.
And I'm Sage. Today we're going to be talking about apple cider vinegar.
It's been used since before 5000 BC. So it's one of the oldest foods and the most incredible thing. It's always been done in a double fermentation process.
So this two-step fermentation process starts out with a yeast that ferments the sugars and turns them into alcohol. There you've got apple cider, and potentially you could just stop there and call it a day and enjoy yourself, but...
Whoa. I mean, who needs the alcohol when we can make vinegar, right?
We're not that fun, right? We're more into the healthy side of things. So then you go on to stage 2, where you have the bacteria that ferment the alcohol and turn it into what's called acetic acid, which is the primary beneficial compound in apple cider vinegar.
And you have to make sure that you always have an organic, raw, unfiltered apple cider vinegar made with the mother. Although in my childhood, we made it with my father and did not work out so well, and Sage knows this story, so let me share it with you guys as well. I grew up in a household that was completely interested in everything healthy, really. We had kombucha and raw milk and cultured vegetables, people and royal jelly, you name it, even infrared lights. So it was fantastic. And my father was completely crazy about apple cider vinegar. So we picked some of our own apples, as organic as you can have it. And he started fermenting them in my brother's baby bathtub. And he fermented them quite a while. And then he decided that this is gonna be time, and he was supposed to be squeezing them out, which is, a nice...
Because you have all the apple pulp there, but you gotta squeeze the juice out of it, right?
Exactly.
So otherwise you get all the chunks.
So we had all this fermented apple, right? And he had to take it out. And he decided it would take a little bit too long. And I'm talking about countryside of communist Hungary, early 1980s. We didn't have a washing machine, anything, so my mother was using a centrifuge. And my dad, in his fantastic, wonderful, infinite wisdom, grabbed the centrifuge from the bathroom and took it to the kitchen, and he poured the entire baby bathtub full of fermented apple into the centrifuge. This is how he's going to squeeze out all the fantastic apple cider vinegar. He did never close the lid. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, the whole thing started spinning like an insane circus and spread every piece of fermented apple chunk, covered the ceiling, covered everything, and covered everybody who just entered the kitchen, including my mother.
Oh, she must have been happy.
Yes, we smelled like apple cider vinegar for a year, and I think even 5 years later we were scraping a tiny pieces of rotten apple where we found it, and it dried on the ceiling. So it's not how you're gonna make your own apple cider vinegar, I'm assured of it. You can find it in your nearest health food store, and I'm quite
safer that way.
Safer that way. And it's very good for weight loss. For example, 1 tablespoon in a glass of water each day reduced, body weight, body fat, and even a waist size. For people who actually, I think they only did it for 12 weeks in this study.
Yeah, it was a 12-week study. And acetic acid, which we talked about, is the main active compound in apple cider vinegar, has also been shown to reduce blood sugar after eating, which is very important, not just for blood sugar balance, but then as a consequence of that for the overall aging process, and also increases satiety, so you feel full sooner, which is great.
And it boosts ketosis. And this is one of the big, most popular words. If somebody is in ketosis, you know that they're really trying to live a very healthy lifestyle. So it supports ketosis and it improves your mitochondrial efficiency.
It's also, as I mentioned, balancing for blood sugar, and it's going to help as well with cholesterol balance. So between cholesterol balance and blood sugar, this actually starts to look like a pretty serious longevity food.
And it helps. You know what? I would like you to tell us more about this, because what I want to talk about, it will be at the end of this whole, it's okay. Totally a different thing. I want to talk about how to clean with it and beauty, and I would like to hear more about it.
So we're kind of working our way down, and now it's also going to help, kind of starting from the top, where at first it's apple cider and it gets you drunk. Now we're working our way down the system, weight loss, and then we're getting into the gut. And so it's, one of the things that people start drinking is alkaline water, and they think this is going to help them get healthier. What it's actually doing is diluting their digestive acids and inhibiting nutrient absorption and stool elimination and digestion. On the other hand, apple cider vinegar creates a more acidic digestive environment, which is what you actually want when you're eating food and you want to get nutrients out of it. And so when you have low acid in your stomach, this actually can contribute to heartburn and acid reflux, and as well as SIBO. And so when you can create a more acidic digestive environment, it really helps with these things and can help knock down heartburn and help knock down the bacteria that are contributing to SIBO. And if you're having apple cider vinegar and water before you go to sleep, it's gonna, or not before you go to sleep, before a meal, it's gonna increase that acidity in your stomach properly. Before you go to sleep though, is actually not a bad idea either, because that really helps with the blood sugar drop that you wanna have overnight to have low fasting blood glucose in the morning. And last but not least, it's got really good prebiotics in there, which are going to act as food for the good bacteria in your gut, so they can be really happy and propagate.
The minute we're done with this talk, I'm heading into our kitchen and have some more. It's actually a delicious drink, right? The other amazing uses apple cider vinegar has is in cleaning in a house. It makes beautiful shining windows. I love cleaning the floor with it. And also, it's a great disinfectant. It kills both E. coli and staph infection, staph bacteria.
And to be clear, it's not been studied in the body for that. It's been studied
outside,
in vitro. But we're talking about in the cleaning department.
Oh yeah. So if you're just drinking it and you have a staph infection, it's not going to kill it inside your body. But outside, if it's a surface that's been infected, which it happens a lot especially in hospitals and places like that.
So go take a bottle of apple cider vinegar and splash it around the hospital. See how fast you get kicked out.
And it's amazing as a beauty ingredient, I would say. But you can just use it on it doesn't have to be an ingredient. If you use it in diluted form, it's a great toner. We like to use it as when you make a clay mask, we just mix the clay with the apple cider vinegar and then you let it dry in your face, and it really pulls out
it's great for acne as well.
Exactly. And then pulls out the impurities and makes the if you mix it with mask, of course, not on its own. And I like to sometimes use it on my hair, and after shampooing, it really gives a nice extra shine to my hair. I don't know why. I really like it.
I don't know how that works, but it's great that it works, and so
especially when I color my hair with henna, I also put it in that mix.
Yeah. And if you're looking for a way to consume it that you would actually enjoy, some people just do it as like sort of a shot in a little bit of water, but you can add it to your salad is really nice. Or one way that we like to do it, especially in the summertime, is we'll do a glass of water, sometimes with a few ice cubes, depending on how hot it is outside, a tablespoon of apple cider vinegar.
It's a big glass.
And then just a couple of drops of stevia. And it is the most refreshing drink, and you can even do it with sparkling water for it to be a little bit more exciting.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah.
Wow, so many uses of apple cider.
So that's apple cider vinegar. If you have other ways you like to use it, we'd love to hear about it. Please let us know in the comments. Thank you for giving this video a like and sharing it with any of your friends who you think might benefit from a little bit of this information.
Thank you so much, guys.
Have a beautiful day, and we'll see you next time.